Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers as well as coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Tutaroo, welcome to Violet Everweekly by the Our Anime Podcast, a series where we discuss Violet Evergarden each week as it airs. We're on episode 2 now. If you want to listen to episode 1, there's probably a link somewhere, I'm sure. I'm Mozilla Fennekin. Sometimes I'm known as Lux, whatever. And joining me as usual, we have Sha.
What's up, guys?
Hey. And we have 2 guests this time around. We're going to try getting 2 guests on each episode. This week we have SFA Freak.
Hey.
And also Sir Hatsley.
Howdy do.
Hey. Glad you guys could be on here. Thanks for joining. If you want to be on this series, if you want to be on a future episode, we do have signups still available. We're getting quite a few, so we're going to probably cut this off at some point soon. So, but we'd really love to have you all on. We want to get as many people on this show as we can, because that's what the Our Anime Podcast is all about. And yeah, that's about it. So I think that's it for introductions. So episode 2, Violet Evergarden. Pretty good. What do you guys think? Why don't you, SFA Freak, do you want to join?
Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good episode. Usually episode 2 is like a little more chill, just because you just got to get some more establishing stuff in. But I thought it did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Were you saying something, Shaw? I think you got cut
No,
off.
I wasn't saying much. That was a much better way of introducing it. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good, I think it was a good second episode. I like a lot of the things that they tackled in the episode. Like Violet actually attempting this job that requires feelings while being essentially, not an actual robot, but, an unfeeling human. So I thought it was pretty enjoyable watching her go about her day and trying to get good. But yeah, I thought it was good because we got to learn more about some world building, character setting, while also feeling a bit, as you said, SFA, a bit more chill. We could kind of really get a sense of the show without waiting to see what the big first impression is.
I think the biggest difference between the first episode and this episode is just kind of the growth in Violet's character. Whereas the first episode, she's just a robot. Whereas this time around, she's actually kind of likable. She's not really making jokes, but she's sort of questioning people as they're narrating letters to her.
I would say she's comically cynical. Maybe
Yes.
not intentionally cynical, but I just thought it was really funny when she was there was one woman who was crying about something, and she says, "Please cease crying immediately." And it's just, it was such a perfect line.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the episode. That was if I don't know if I had a best girl before that moment, but Violet is best girl for telling this crying woman, you need to stop crying, we have a job to do. That was just an MVP moment. That was so dank, without being dank on purpose, but I was this is perfect. I guess it's worth asking though, because I realized we don't actually know, how did you guys feel about the first episode? Because me and Moz have talked about it, and we're both moderate fans of it, per se. We're enjoying it, but how did you guys feel?
I thought it was sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I thought it was a really good start. It didn't quite blow me as much away as, it was hyped, but it was definitely a little overhyped. But I think it was a good start. Didn't deserve the amount of hate it was getting in its first episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid having a strong opinion in either direction, because if you're just going to be immediately praising the show, it's mainly on account of its visuals, and people will say you're shallow. But if you're just hating the show, then it's only because it's popular and people will say you're an elitist. So I'm trying to just avoid having an opinion right now. But there are things that I can praise and things that I think are genuinely problematic, and the list of the problematic things seems to be getting bigger, especially with this second episode.
Well, that's pretty interesting. What do you think? What do you think was problematic?
Well, maybe not so much problematic, but I think the biggest problem I've been having was the presentation of the dolls, and especially the fact that Violet is a human, right? I think the most surprising moment in the show was when you see her bleed, because I was 100% convinced she was a robot.
Yeah, that is fair, because I did legitimately think that just based on the premise, like the fact that they're called auto memoir dolls, and I'm like, huh, okay.
And then you've got all these dolls here, and they don't look any different from the humans. They don't act any different from the humans. And Violet is the most robotic character in the show. And that might be used later on to kind of establish sort of a contrast, but we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Wait. I forgot. I'm sorry. I ruined the whole episode.
It's over. We're done, guys. We're shutting it down. No, I think they did have that one line that I think Erica, she's the one with the glasses, she had that line, though, about how she said, like, Violet looked like a doll. So I do think they're going to try and make some kind of contrast between, the auto dolls. I forget what they're called.
Auto memoir dolls.
Auto memoir dolls. Like, I think they're going to try and make some kind of contrast between them being called dolls, but needing a certain level of empathy to connect with the humans around them in order to really convey their feelings, while Violet doesn't have that and is like the only one that actually looks like a doll, even though the functions of the dolls seem kind of very contrasting. Like, I don't think it's a big deal, but I do think it's like a bit of irony that they have to be so in touch with their emotions and Violet isn't, but they're the ones who are legit dolls and she's trying to become one.
Yeah, I just I think the term auto memoir doll, I think that like fits Violet right now, but I'm just wondering, like, I don't know, it's just a weird term for a ghostwriter, I think. So I see what Hatsley's saying.
I just wish there was some visual distinction that, like, you could actually tell that the actual dolls are robotic. They move in human-like ways. They look human-like. They wear, regular people clothing. Why?
And we're talking about that mechanical thing we saw in the end of the episode, right? Like, the thing the girl was looking at through the mirror, through the window? That's what we're talking about, right?
Wait, what?
Because
the auto memoir dolls.
So the auto memoir dolls, that's
office.
their term, but I'm pretty sure they're just like normal humans. That's just the name they have for them.
Yeah.
That's just the job.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I don't think there are any, like, for, like, what we've seen in this, this world's technology advances, I don't know if we are at a point in that story where there are robots, We know that they have, I want to call them automail limbs, but, they have, like, the prosthetic limbs that are connected that seem to have some kind of steampunk aesthetic, but I don't know if the city they're in has the technology, sorry about that, to, like, have robots, which is something interesting because we're getting a lot of impressions that there is, like, robots in the city. So I do think that could be viewed as something problematic as well, that there's, like, there's some confusion over it and it hasn't really been cleared up.
Well, I think this show's trying to go for like this sort of like parallel world rather than trying to say it's like set in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not trying to be like historical. It's just set in an older setting, very Victorian style.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about the setting because we got like a few kind of minor details about like what's going on here. Like, I guess the world is original. It kind of threw me for a loop because Iris said that she came to Leiden, which is an actual city in Holland, but that's not actually where they are. I think they just used it because it means, someone told me about this, where Leiden means suffering or to suffer in German. So I guess that's just a symbolism for the anime, but it was weird that they used like a never mind.
No, I know what you mean. It's kind of like, what if they named it London, but it's not in London?
Yeah.
It would be weird because you're going to think it's in London, but then they're like, nope.
Yeah, but
got
then
you fooled. We're actually in a completely new world. Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have like they also mentioned currency, like colis. That's a thing that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird, and a lot of people pointed out that they're eating yakisoba noodles in this world, even though it's like kind of French-like.
Yeah, that is weird, because that's a, like, very Eastern dish, and they're in a very Western setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't pick
The
up on
setting
that.
the setting so far has been kind of aesthetically like one note. I've been noticing.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's very French, but every single interior shot I've seen so far has looked the same. There are times when I can't tell if they're in someone's house or if they're in like the place where she works.
I think that's fair. I haven't
Yeah,
given
yeah,
any
it's
notice
just
to
kind of
the
like...
interiors.
You know, like the show makes good, plenty of use of filters, and I'd like it if they'd like maybe use different colored filters depending on the location. I think that'd kind of justify what they were doing. But since it's kind of uniform so far, it's sort of thrown me off.
Yeah, I can see that too. I think it's kind of tough because we haven't really seen much of the setting except for like that one house she was gonna stay at, which is very upper crust, and then her workplace, which seems kind of normal. But we do kind of have not necessarily the exact same complaints that I think Kavrik had last episode of everything looking too gorgeous. But I would like some kind of contrast in this city between the class system. So I think it would be interesting if we saw, like, you know, what do the slums look like in this city? What does it look like for the normal citizens, like, just walking around, you know? It's not like they can't make those things look aesthetically pleasing, but just some sense that, you know, like, not everything looks super gorgeous and upper crust. Because we also had that one, like, cafe that they went to that looked, like, very extravagant with, like, a lot of different flora and just different, like, it looked like a tropical vacation, but they're just at a cafe.
Yeah.
You know, so I do want to get a sense of, like, the class system and what does it look like if you're poor? Like, I want to see that, but I don't know if that's a question we're gonna get answered.
Well, you'd think that the people who are getting these auto memoir dolls like written,
Mhm.
they're probably going to be from a lower class. I'd assume. I don't know. So I think we'll probably see that later on.
They said the company is struggling, so I'm assuming none of these guys are really high class workers.
Well, it was kind of interesting. So, like, they try to lead you to imply that by the delivery boy. I think his name's Benedict.
Yep.
They try and imply that because, like, they say that the major or the lieutenant colonel, I think it was, who's running it, was not taking a paycheck. But then we see later it's so he could buy the brooch.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
So it might be struggling a little bit, but that's not, I don't think, what they were trying to imply in this episode, at least.
Well, I thought it was like Iris was like complaining about Violet and says like, never mind. You're actually kind of right because Iris said that like they're like kind of new and they're like just getting popularity and they're like worried that Violet was gonna send them in a downward swing. So actually, you are right on that.
Yeah, that was like a purposeful like misunderstanding because he was like overhearing them and then talking about like then he overheard them, thought they weren't doing well, and then you find out about the brooch. So it was a cool misunderstanding that turned out to have more meaning than we thought.
But that is also a good point that like they are just, they're just starting, so like it's understandable that everyone would be on edge about the success of the company.
Yeah, especially.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
just especially with Violet basically ruining people's lives by sending bad letters.
I
If we
gotta
get
love that.
14 episodes of Violet just ruining
I
everyone's
will watch
life,
that.
and this could just turn into a comedy series, I would be
Yes.
down for that.
He's so down.
Violet Dropout.
like when she's just like, I communicated your feelings efficiently. I remember some people like felt bad for that rich girl who was like crying about how her life was over. I'm like, nah, Violet nailed this. You were being a petty, shallow bitch, and she communicated it in the letter perfectly. Violet did nothing wrong.
To be honest, I actually kind of liked that. I actually thought it was pretty interesting. I don't think that one lady was particularly a gold digger, and it's just that she was just too vague with how she was like explaining how she feels, and she like expected the ghostwriter to because that's their job. They like fill in the blanks and they convey words and emotions a lot more properly. So like the fact that she actually like kind of broke down and said that she actually had feelings for them, I don't know, I actually thought that was kind of cool as opposed to her just being an actual gold digger, because I feel like that would make that would make the scene a little more satisfying, with Violet being like, oh yeah, Violet did nothing wrong in there. But I'm like, no, actually, she kind of fucked someone's life up a little bit with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that too. I thought it was cool because it was like more to her personality, but also shows like how tough the job is. Because we also got that with Erica, where she actually did do like a seemingly good job, and the guy went ballistic on her because he's like, "Why are you making it sound like my fault?" And it's like, "Well, probably is your fault," but you know, she did like her job as best she could, and then this guy just went crazy on her, like we know customer service can be. Very realistic. So, yeah, it is interesting. I do like that, too, where they show just how tough it is. And also, I just like seeing Violet, like, mess up these people's lives by, like, you know, not getting any nuance in their personality and just being like, give me more money, and writing that down on a letter and sending it.
But I still thought it was really funny, though, seeing that. Did you, have another point to bring up, Shaw, before I accidentally cut you off?
I probably did. I probably wasn't actually that good. I don't think I did, but no, I was just gonna ask you guys, like in general, this was probably more of a character. Like this was a character and world building episode, but we also got more insight into you know, her coworkers. What did you guys think about them?
I still think those receptionists are insanely hot, and I'm glad we got another like 15 seconds of them.
Yep.
I feel like the designs in this show are just kind of all over the place. They're not bad, but every character seems like they kind of fit into a different show.
Kind of, a little bit.
You got the one doll, like the one male doll. He looks like he's from an idol show.
Yeah, what was with those boots? You guys saw those boots, right? Those like ridiculous heels. Well, he's like, I like went back and rewound that because I'm like, maybe it's the bike. You know, maybe that's the bike. I'm like, what is that? That's like weird heels, and he's on deliveries. What is this? Well, that was odd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I was just like, wait a minute, why does he have?
Well,
these?
so I saw someone mention somewhere that apparently like heels were used for like riding horses, and so it might be like some sort of like carryover, but like to the bike. I don't know. I mean, like that could just be conjecture, but I think that's an interesting possibility.
It's better than what I have, which I'm like, dude, it's just like really like weirdly aesthetically put together. Like, why is he doing that? Because I'm not even thinking like, oh, you know, that looks pretty idolish. Like, I mean, dude's going around on deliveries and has to walk. Why is he in heels? He didn't have to do that.
Oh, wow.
He didn't choose that life.
I'm like skipping through the episode and I found the boots, and yeah, those are really tall.
Like, I don't actually notice, like, I don't actually that often go back and rewind things over something as stupid as boots, but I was, like, so caught off guard that I'm like, why is he wearing boots? And it's not, like, a big deal, but it just makes me think, like, why is he wearing boots? And I had problems before with, Catalia. I think that's her name. She's, like, the main auto-memory doll.
Yeah.
And I think she looks great, but I don't know why she looks like a gypsy prostitute at work. Like, I maintain she's, like, got this great character design. She's really fun and teasy, especially with, the Colonel Lieutenant, Claudia. That Claudia is his actual name. Like, they have a fun dynamic, but I'm just like, girl, you look great, but why are you in work, like, looking like a stripper? Like, that's, what are you doing?
Shaw,
but now...
you have both improved and also ruined this character for me simultaneously, because every time she's on screen, I just start laughing because I think of the time from last week when you called her a pirate wench.
She's a pirate.
And I just think
about pirate wench.
And that's just her name for me now. She's pirate wench.
Like, they had the end of the
Evergarden.
episode. She's at the bar behind the bar making a drink, and I'm like, okay, now you're dressed appropriately for work. Now we make sense. But you work in an office, and I'm like, you know, I respect the hustle, and I think she has a great character design. I just don't understand the mismatch. But now that we also have the boot biker guy, maybe it's just, you know, a bit, like...
We also had that bit at the end where Violet changes into a new outfit that's, like, totally crazy. Like,
So Violet turned into Saber. Yeah. She's Saber now.
I appreciated her early outfit. It was just, like, a simple blouse. It was great.
Yeah, so now maybe they're just cosplaying at work. Maybe that's it. You know, Violet's gonna be Saber, she's gonna be the pirate wench, he's an idol dude. Maybe that's just it. and they're wondering why they're struggling, or not struggling, but might struggle. We all know now.
I think
Yeah, so
the only reason it seems like a problem is because it takes itself fairly seriously. Like it's got a very, cinematic tone to it. And if it was sort of campier, a bit more, I guess, anime, none of those designs would really stand out as weird.
Yeah, because it's not like an Amagami Brilliant Park type of thing, Like that had some campy designs, but for a theme park, that's fitting. It's very fitting for that. This isn't like a battle harem where like you just kind of expect fan service outfits. Like it's a very serious character drama, and like we're supposed to take I'm probably saying her name wrong. Catalea. I think like she's supposed to be the head doll. She's supposed to be like a well-respected, esteemed figure, and like a pirate wench, and a great-looking pirate wench. But it's just kind of tough to like put those together, given how like the setting is supposed to be like a Victorian setting. Like that's not really what goes along with that setting. But, I mean, it's not like a deal breaker, it's just like a nitpick, but it does kind of have this same it does follow the same complaint we've had of just kind of being a mismatch between the world building and character designs and not really having like a clear presentation or a clear idea.
Yeah, and so like incidentally, like I looked up her name. It's apparently an orchid that grows in like South America or something, and it's pronounced Cattleya in English.
I
But
knew
then
I was
it's
wrong.
but then it's Japanese, so they say like, Cattleya with the weird accent, so like, the way they pronounce it and the way it should be pronounced is kind of different.
Yeah.
But in terms of the designs, I personally really like them. I feel like they're really varied and unique, and like I really challenge you to find many other shows that have such unique designs. I
I'm
think
gonna
the only
say it
one
right
that
now. I think this show is gonna set a world record for like the most complex character designs ever shown in a TV broadcast.
I was going to say they are pretty elaborate.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I don't want to, like, I find them aesthetically pleasing designs. Like, I like looking at them, I think they're unique, and I don't really, it's so weird because I just think they kind of mismatch with the setting, but I like looking at them. It's not like a real complaint, it's just kind of a nitpick. Like, I think Catalea, I will say her name wrong, and I'm just gonna stick with that. I think she looks great. Like, she has my favorite character design in the show because I find it aesthetically pleasing and I like how she looks. I just also don't think she looks like she's going to work in this setting. But she looks
I think
fire.
it's gonna become kind of annoying later on when you realize that they're wearing the same crazy outfits constantly, whereas everyone else is gonna probably be wearing like stock Victorian clothing.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm ready for the beach episode. We're getting to that, right? Like, we have to go to the beach.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to be the OVA.
The beach episode is a PTSD flashback.
That's,
It's a
of
Pearl Harbor, but,
Normandy,
like, fantasy.
of something.
yeah, like losing her arms. That's my beach episode.
it'll be the Contai collection crossover.
Yeah, with the ships and stuff. There's just gonna be bombs going off, and it's like, yeah, this is my beach episode. No, I do think they look great and all. I do think they're cool. I like Violet has become Saber in a good looking way. But there was like one part of the episode that I think really stood out. It's the end of the episode. I was amazed that the episode kept going on like after the ending song played over. At first I kind of thought like, I'm like, wow, this episode's kind of long, but we have the bar scene with Claudia. I'm gonna have so much fun saying his name. In Catalea, where they're talking about the Major, and they're like low-key saying, he said he's gone. So, do you guys
he's never coming back.
He's never coming back.
That's at least the stuff I got.
I would be disappointed if he's dead.
Yeah.
At this point.
Because, I was thinking about this, because I'm like, okay, this is the most roundabout way of saying he's dead, without saying he's dead. And, like, we had those like really awkward conversations earlier where he's just like not confirming that he's dead, but he just won't talk about him. So I have my two suspicions that he has amnesia or something. So like, himself is not coming back, or he's like in a coma. like he's like mentally not there, even if he's alive. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that'd be much more interesting.
If he's actually dead, I'm gonna be disappointed because I spent way too much time thinking about if he's dead or not.
Also, because it would be like the laziest thing they could possibly write.
Yeah, and like just say he's dead. You guys are like, you can't be
Like,
so
imagine the
roundabout
big
about
twist
this.
at the end. She realizes he's dead.
The twist is he was a ghost all along. He never existed. He was never there. That would
I
be
would
the
love
best
for
twist.
the twist to be that Violet literally is a robot. That would justify like her personality.
That would be pretty cool. I've gone like hard on like arguing that she's not a robot, so I'll look really dumb, but I'm willing to sacrifice that for the for interesting twists and stuff. I'm cool with that.
I mean, the definition of dolls is still really confusing. Like, looking online, like, dolls both refers to, like, the first generation of actual dolls that were used to write stuff, and also, like, a second generation of people that came to follow. It's been confusing.
Yeah, that's kind of confusing. It's unnecessarily confusing unless there's something else to it. So I hope you're right on that. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like we were kind of railing on this last week, where like it'll kind of suck if they kind of hide the fact that the Major's dead all this time, and then like the last episode is like Violet learning about his death, like they finally tell her, and then it's like this huge like 5-minute crying scene. I'm gonna be like, okay, you could have done that a lot better. I still hope that. I mean, if the Major really is dead, then I just hope that Violet. This is about Violet learning about it herself without someone having to tell her. I think that would be nice, but yeah. Not a huge fan of the Major subplot.
What do you
so
guys?
far.
Yeah, I was talking to people about it, and some people felt that this was like a melodramatic episode. Would you guys agree or disagree with that?
Maybe a little bit.
I kind of disagree, honestly.
Okay, yeah. I'm with you on that, because I think melodrama would imply that, like, the way this is handled is, like, over the top, giving the situation, whereas I've appreciated how I think they've handled the turmoil of the Major situation in, like, subtle ways. Like, we're not having huge breaking down, crying scenes, we're not having, like, unnecessary, like, monologues about it, you know, like, not the things that I would associate with melodrama for the situation. Like, that's how I feel. Are you on the same page with that?
If I'm honest, I kind of want it to go harder on the melodrama, because what we had here, like, this kind of setting would work really well with sort of a melodramatic story. You know, the characters that are, you know, like, veterans, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's set up seems like it would fit really nice with just, you know, simple melodrama. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying a melodramatic story. They're popular for a reason.
Mm-hmm. So you guys said, like, it was kind of melodramatic? Like, you guys could see that?
I felt that, like, with Erica, that just felt a little bit forced. Like, I kind of liked what they were going for, but it just, like, felt really crammed in with her having this, like, moment of camaraderie with Violet. It kind of worked, but it also felt a little bit forced.
Yeah, I can see that a bit, actually. Like, the, like, barging through the door, being like, no, like, let her keep her job. That felt like a bit, I see that one a bit. I wasn't even thinking of that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like the thing is, like, that scene didn't seem to have any, like, development leading into it, really. Which is why it didn't really strike me as particularly melodramatic. It was just sort of forced.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have liked. I think that should have been something for like that's something that you would see in like an episode dedicated to the development of this character. But we didn't really get a whole lot of her.
I wanted to see her mess up more before arriving to this conclusion that she should stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have built that up into, like, a nice mini arc where, you know, she keeps messing up. And, like, you know they're not going to fire her in the second episode. You know, like, we know they're not going to do that, even if, like, that one girl was bitching about it. I mean, they could have built that up into a nice, like, actual conflict of, like, will she or will she not stay? And I agree. Like, I think they could have been, like, a bit more compelling. But it does tell me that they're not really going to focus on Violet, you know, like, staying, being, like, a challenge. It'll just be her improving.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked that. Just like I wouldn't have minded this being like a 2 or 3 episode setup of her kind of learning how to do the job and failing a few times, and getting to know about Erica a little more, because I like Erica so far. I think she's an alright character. Very cute design.
Yeah, I think she's pretty cool. I think I'm excited to see what's going on with I just keep calling her like that, like whining. Who's the whining girl? Iris. Like, I mean, I know she's gonna have like some compelling backstory of being like super duper poor, and like some auto doll like saved her, and she like really appreciates them, and it's her lifelong dream, and she's worked hard or whatever. She's being a bitch right now, and I'm not tolerating that when my girl Violet is here to shut down everyone with their tears. So yeah, so Erica is like third best so far, after Saber and the gypsy stripper.
Pirate wench.
Pirate wench.
Pirate wench.
By the way, someone
like
actually mentioned
Pirate wench.
She's Crimson Pirate Wench.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, actually. That's like
That
a
is
very
pretty
cool
good.
title. Crimson.
That's like
Pirate Wench.
that's like an AOL instant messenger name.
Yeah, that's my AIM handle. Hit me up.
Jesus.
Rip AIM.
Every character in the show needs to have a terrible name like that.
Yeah.
Someone actually mentioned that Iris and Erica are anime original characters.
Really?
I saw that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which actually isn't that surprising. I mean, this is what Kyoto Animation does. They take a ton of liberties with their source material. They add stuff. They rearrange stuff. I mean, it's very unusual for them to do like a straight adaptation like Koe no Katachi was.
If the question is though, if no one reads the source and complains about it, does it even exist?
I don't think anyone's read the source here.
Yeah. Does anyone?
Yeah, not here.
No one in this group, but I mean, there are a couple people on Reddit who have.
I mean, I just remember reading a post where they were saying, "Chill, guys. It's not going to be that good. It'll be pretty good. It'll be okay."
I did hear that too. I heard some people being like, "Yeah, guys, it's gonna be good, but not that good," and I was like, "Yeah, that
kind of set my expectation."
I think it's better to have that. If we're just kind of like, "Oh, this might just be a fun show," then we'll all have much better time. If we're not expecting like the literal saving grace of anime, which we all know won't happen because Pop Team Epic is this season, so we all know what to expect.
Yeah, yeah. People were more hyped just for the art and animation, which, in my opinion, is at the very least the best of this season.
Yeah,
I think it's probably going to set a world record just for the number of strokes they had to draw per episode. It's insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so many lines. I wanted to mention this earlier, but I fucking love the coloring in this show. Like I would agree that the character designs are pretty inconsistent, but I just love how like swirly the characters are. Like with the brooch at the end, it's very swirly.
It really feels magical, and it almost feels like it does feel like a magical fantasy in a way, even though we don't know that like magic is involved. But it does give you that kind of like fairy tale-esque feeling, and I appreciate that too. Like they have captured this really magical atmosphere, and it does suck me in. And I really enjoy like looking at everything. It just looks gorgeous.
Again, since so many of the shots are interior, I haven't really felt like I've been kind of brought into the city, because we know like how some of the rooms look, but we don't even really know how the outside of the building where she works is.
Yeah.
Well, we actually did see the establishing shot of that building right before the like flirty woman who like came storming back in. Right before she stormed in, we get an establishing shot of the building, and it looked amazing.
Okay.
It wasn't super obvious it was actually the building. It was only on my second watch that came up that I noticed that, so.
They did have that like time-lapse shot in the first episode, right? Like,
oh yeah, the time-lapse shot in
pretty...
the first episode was really strong.
I forgot about that, but that one was pretty cool as like a nice setting shot, but I do agree.
They had a time-lapse in this episode too, and that one just kind of felt out of place.
I would call it forgettable since I forgot it happened. But
it looks so pretty.
I'm excited. I know it, like, it definitely looked pretty. I don't remember it, but I know it looks pretty. I know in my heart. But we will have our beach episode, and that will be the best establishing shot.
Withering for no reason.
What?
It was weird. The time lapse in this episode was like some flowers withering or something. I don't know how flowers work.
Symbolism, probably. I'm not sure actually.
Maybe.
But it's
I don't
probably
know.
Symbolism. Yeah.
I think the best thing about the animation in this show, though, is like, all the line work's amazing and just like all the detail, but even
The
more so,
hair.
just like, yeah, the hair too. But what I was mainly noticing was like, there's so many times where the characters like actually do something in each frame more than just moving their mouth. Like,
Oh yeah.
they do some stuff with their body language, like, you see, they cut to a shot of like, the woman's hand, the woman who came in and Violet ruined her letter. I don't know if she has a name. Did they ever mention a name for her?
I'm not sure. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't think they did. But like, they did like so many different little shots of her, and like there's a shot of just her hand, and she just kind of moves her hand in this little way that like almost no one else would animate, but they did it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I actually noticed calluses on her fingers, and I thought that was going to kind of be like a hint into like a bigger picture for her, that she was like a working woman and she was trying to get a man because like she does like hard labor. But I mean, either way, like they had such detail on her hands that I'm noticing calluses on this side character's hand. Like the best I can hope for other shows is that like, they show up, and now we have like calluses on hands, like very, very important details that are just, like they're just so impressive that you wouldn't even think of having that kind of expectation.
Yeah. And also about the animation, that fucking time when they're maybe not animation specifically, but just the design work of the show is when Violet and Erica were caught in the rain and their clothes got all wet and Violet's shirt was translucent. Pretty great. They really care
like
about this.
You could see the
Lenny.
outline of like what she had under and like what is like the most realistic like rain clothing change that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and also just like I don't want to make this sound weird, but just like the wetness of them was just like colored in this really cool way.
Ooh, what else?
You made it sound weird.
I'm sorry I ruined the episode.
No, I ruined the episode at the beginning. You can't unruin the episode. You can only save it.
I double ruined the episode.
Well, like they
Yeah.
even like they made her shoulders be more soaked than like the bottom of her sleeve, where like it's pointing down and wouldn't get as much rain on it.
Wait,
Like,
are you fucking serious? I'm gonna look at
Yeah,
this.
you can actually notice that they made it look like a little. I'm not sure like how noticeable it is in every shot. There's one shot I'm like, wow, they actually made sure that like the top of her shoulders, where all the rain would be landing, looked like it had more water soaked into it than the bottom of her sleeve, which I thought was insane.
That is insane.
Oh my god, you're right. Holy shit, dude. I'm gonna post this in Discord. Like,
Real MVP is posting it because I can't go back and look. I mean, I could.
Yes, I believe KyoAni actually hand animated thousands of raindrops individually.
they
Wow.
fucking
A team of
would.
50 people working on the rain.
10,000 frames. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong meme. That looks insane. That is so true.
Forced animation. That's the meme.
Forced animation.
Forced
I love that.
animation.
Too much forced animation. I want to see that as like a complaint. Like we got too much forced animation.
Wow. So yeah.
What I'm most curious about is how this show would be perceived if it was not KyoAni. If
Yeah.
it didn't have this like super gorgeous aesthetic where everyone's kind of expecting it to be a masterpiece because it looks like one.
The question is, does it look the same and not have the KyoAni name next to it, or was it just handled by a different studio?
Let's just assume that the character designs are simpler, but like aesthetically it's basically identical and the animation isn't as good.
It would probably both be better and worse, because like less people would probably be watching it, but then it would be like the gem of the season, like then it would build up hype. But I'm not sure, because the KyoAni name is both like the gift and the curse, because for and like some fairness, I do think a lot of the KyoAni shows get like they don't get the same amount of criticism that other shows would in similar situations. but at the same time, it's now kind of resulted in, like, the counter jerk. Like, the fight is on between, like, the people who praise it because it's KyoAni and the people who hate it because it's KyoAni, and then we're all the moderate opinion people, and we're just kind of caught in between.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Do you guys have any other points to add? We're about at 40 minutes here.
I want my OP and ED. I want them, and I wanted them this episode.
I mean, I think they played the ED, but they just
Yeah,
played
so
it.
apparently the song at the end, it's not an insert song, it's the ED, but they just didn't do the animation, which personally, I did not like the ED song.
It was very, very slow.
Well, like, the song itself was okay, but the singer is honestly, like, bad. She's way too nasally, I do some singing myself, so I'm a little bit of a critic when it comes to this sort of thing, and just, like, she sounds so closed up whenever she's singing.
She actually does the ending for, Kanat, what is it? Hyokai no Kanata.
Hyokai?
Yeah, she does the...
Koe no Kanata?
There it is, thank you. She does the ending for that, she does the opening for that. So I recognized her there, and she's also the same voice actress as Erika, so I recognized her as that.
Really?
Yeah, so I, like, kind of knew that was coming, but I'm with you. It's not her best song, and it's probably not an ED I'm going to listen to very often. So that just means you need to step up to the plate and re-record the ending so we can watch it. That's the only option.
Yeah, you say you sing a lot.
Save us, Evan Call, with your mighty snake.
No, what I'm curious about, are they going to have any big performance scenes in this? You know, is it going to be like an Idol episode?
If we don't have an Idol and a beach episode, we can't even call this a KyoAni show.
No.
That's just this is fake KyoAni. I won't stand for it.
I haven't seen any like leg fixation shots, so I'm confused.
They don't. It's not by Yamada, so we might not even get some knee shots. What are we doing? What are we even doing here? This is just fake KyoAni. It's like when they give when they have like the main studio and then they have like the lesser studio, the sub studio. That's what we're working with.
My biggest wish for this show is that we get Lux Sybil, because because I'm Lux. There's a character listed on here named Lux, but she doesn't have a voice actress, which really concerns me. We better fucking see a character named Lux in this show or I'll kill myself.
I just want every character to have a color and then weird connection of two nouns for their name.
Well, maybe Lux Sybil is maybe she's mute. Maybe she's a silent voice.
Hey. That'd work.
Oh, we need more chromatic aberrations here.
We
Not enough filters, honestly.
We need more filters. We are not Instagram enough.
Maybe Becker should just put a filter
they should have some
over this
selfies
whole
in here.
episode.
He won't. Do it, Bex. Do it.
Yamada should come
Or
and
it could
do
be
a
the guy who
guest
turns up the
episode.
contrast.
The entire episode is just fixated on her knees as she's walking around the town.
That's
Fantastic.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
It'd be like the Endless Eight of Evergarden.
It'll be the of Violet Evergarden. All right, we're done now.
That's our
I've
cue.
ruined the whole
That's our
episode
cue.
for the third time.
I have one last thing I want to say. I watched both the fan subs and the Netflix subs this time, and I have to say they're pretty comparable for the most part. Like, I think I like the fan subs a little bit more, but like Netflix is doing an okay job, except for the scene where Patlia was kind of being flirty with Hodgins. Like, they made it sound like Claudia had that name because he wanted it, not because his parents wanted it. And they really messed that one up. It was kind of weird, but other than that, it's been pretty comparable.
Interesting. Okay, that makes yeah, you can't mess that up. That was some good flirting. You guys can't ruin that. Well, so Netflix ruined that.
And that was a nice detail to Claudia's character.
Yo, my mom's name is Claudia, so this is getting a bit freaky for me, honestly.
Oh, shit.
I feel very uncomfortable that my mom is voiced by Dio. I'm not cool with that.
All right. I think we're done for this episode. Great discussion. I think we all liked this episode of Violet Evergarden. We're all liking the show once again. Thank you, SFA and Hatsley, for coming on this week.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, great to have you.
Great
on.
job.
Yeah, you were a great guest. And as for everyone else, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Make sure to subscribe if you have not. Follow us on Twitter at Tokyo Podfathers. And again, if you want to sign up, if you want to be on this episode, do sign up. Link is in the description for the Google form, and we'll try to get you on. And we'll see you next week. Bye.